Hi, I'm Rosalee, and this is the Baby Notebook. My parents were predators, and they documented my life obsessively. This notebook was written over 40 years ago. I've never read it until now. I recorded myself reading the Baby Notebook to catch my natural reactions, to see my face, to feel my energy, to be able to read myself. I teach this process of witnessing in the diner. I created everything that the Plumb Collective is to help myself. The practice, a course, and reading photos is for me. It's about me being me. I use the tools that I created to help myself, and I'm sharing it with you. Witness me witnessing myself. Read the words my parents wrote about me, to me, but they weren't for me. This is the Baby Notebook.
I was not raised pagan. I'm very curious what had you asked this question, or if you'd like to say more, I'd love to hear more about what you're wondering. But no, I don't feel like I was raised really at all, but I had arguments about religion. I will say that. My mom was raised Catholic and very much thought that putting me in CCD was a good idea, and but they didn't baptize me. Okay, so let's start at the beginning. My parents chose not to baptize me as a baby because they wanted me to have my input in it and to consent to the experience, which is wild considering how much they didn't allow me to consent to, but I'm thankful for that. And then I was in CCD, and when it came time to do First Communion, because I hadn't been baptized, I needed to be baptized to be able to do First Communion, and I wanted to experience this thing finally that I had been practicing for. So I did get baptized a week or two before First Communion, so I remember it, and I had the giggles, and somewhere there's video of this. So it's basically just me giggling through and not taking it seriously at all. I wanted to get a new dress and get dressed up and have my hair done, and I wanted the experience, and I wanted to finish this project that I started, and I wanted to do this thing with my friends. But the entire time I was questioning everything. I think the CCD teachers and basically all adults were always annoyed with me because I just asked a bunch of questions, and they labeled me argumentative. So shortly after that, I just refused to go to church or do anything with it anymore because I just felt like it was very performative and weird, and I didn't like the priest, and everything was creepy to me. And so as a child, I was reading everybody and being like, this is fucking weird, and I'm out. And then my dad was not Catholic and refused Catholicism for my entire life. And then in his 80s, he got really into Mother Angelica. And then when he died at almost 85, he wanted last rites and considered himself a Catholic. So I don't know. But up until that point where he got into Mother Angelica, he was super into religion. So I don't know another human being who has been baptized as many times as him. Somewhere it's written down, but it's between 20 and 30 times he was baptized. He just got baptized constantly and joined different churches all of the time, and was raised Pentecostal and was very much into evangelical. He was an incredible orator, and his nickname was Preacher Man and Moses. A lot of people didn't ever call him by his actual name. They called him Preacher Man or Moses. So he had a big white beard. He looked like a cartoon image of God, or Rick Rubin. That's what he looked like. So people very much wanted him to lead prayer, and he considered the Holy Spirit to be how I feel about intuition. He felt about the Holy Spirit. So we got into discussions about religion. I would watch different things he was watching, Joel Osteen or Joyce Myers or Mother Angelica or different people, and then argue with him about it. Or concerning his sexuality, we would get into arguments because I'd be like, why do you want to join a group that they do not want you? They do not accept you. They think you're an abomination. Why do you want to be part of anything that they're doing? So I never got any good answers from him or my mom about their beliefs or what they felt was true. I just felt like all of their beliefs were bullshit and not inspiring to me at all. So their political ideologies, religious ideologies, all of that really was kept very separate from me. Because I started, 7, 8 years old just being like, this is weird and you guys are weird and I don't agree with anything, and I just refuse to accept their beliefs at face value or just believe what they believe because they were my parents. I just didn't accept it, and that definitely caused them to punish me and treat me in particular ways that I never felt were fair. When I was 15, I considered myself a Buddhist, and we would get into discussions about that. So it was very much like I was a thorn in everyone's side about everything because I just didn't accept what I was told. So that's why I don't feel like I was raised at all. I was squished. This is $1 million question. Did your mother realize what a horrid mother she was? Short answer, I don't know. Long answer, let's get into it. I did my absolute best to communicate to my mother how I felt about her behavior, about how she treated me, about how I felt around her. I tried my best to get her to understand. Did she understand it? Did she let it in? We may never know. She felt like it was everybody else's fault, and she didn't take any responsibility or consider that her behavior contributed to how people felt about her or how they treated her. So I'm going to guess that her inverted sense of self, I don't think she knew how horrid she was, although I was giving her reviews constantly. A clear example of her flip-flopped sense of self was she did not want to have a funeral because she felt like no one would come to her funeral. But that's what was fucked up, is that all of her relationships were surface level relationships. It's like she met somebody for 5 minutes, they fell in love with her, thought she was so great. And so there were all of these people that she had met that were pissed that we did not have a funeral for her. So it's like when she died, there was an outpouring of love for her from people that didn't know her at all. But we honored her wishes and did not have a funeral and whatever. She also referred to herself in relation to her siblings. She had a whole bunch of siblings. She referred to herself as secondhand Rose. She was the second born, and I assume what secondhand Rose meant, just secondhand, like second best, not as good, given away, like these things. But I'm curious if there's anyone out there that knows more about that term, or is that a term that other people have heard or said about, is there something I'm missing, I guess, is what I'm asking about secondhand Rose. But it's like, I think she thought I should just love her, that that our relationship was my fault, that it wasn't good, that if only I loved her the way I was supposed to, then everything would be good. I don't think she considered how her behavior, she was horrid. So I don't know if she believed that about herself or not, specifically in relation to her mothering, but she felt victimized by everybody and resentful of everybody, that no one thought of her how she thought of herself. So it's like, did she actually then think, it's like a fucking funhouse mirror. I don't know if she thought she was great and everybody else had it wrong, or she thought nobody liked her and everybody loved her, but they didn't really know her. And then she just completely blew off what I was saying. I'm not sure. So this is a question that I consider often, and I'm so glad you asked, because this gave me an opportunity to speak it out loud. So I don't know, and it didn't change her behavior. So if whatever she felt about herself, she just kept on acting like an asshole. So April 20th, 1984. 4/20/84 could have been my birthday, except Easter got in the way and they didn't want to schedule the C-section for that day. So anyway, honey, we went to the doctor this morning and he said everything is A-okay. Your heartbeats are 130 beats per minute, so he said you may be having a boy. It's just 61 hours, and then we'll know. Lots of people have guessed your weight, but today the doctor said he thought at least between 8 and 10 pounds. Just so you are healthy, honey. The doctor also gave Mama an entrance exam, so she is okay to go into the hospital. Now he said it would be easier to go to the hospital for blood work on Saturday morning because the lab has more help than on a holiday Sunday. Mama has a tingling numbness sensation in her lower stomach, and the doctor said that that's just you pressing against a nerve. Pretty neat, huh? Boy, sweetheart, I am going to love you so much. Well, we already do love you, but just the thought of holding you close to me on the outside and looking at you and Daddy together has brought tears to my eyes many times this last week. Today is Good Friday of Easter week, and we plan on coloring eggs tonight. One of her sisters made a giant Easter bunny basket, so we will take a picture with you in it so you can see it all trimmed with candy and eggs. We even bought you a chocolate bunny, but I think Mama and Daddy will have to eat that for you this year. Honey, we will have to share with you the beauty of the Easter season. This is the time we celebrate the death of Jesus Christ and his rising 3 days later. Honey, we will share so much with you. We will teach you many things, and you will learn from others, and you will be such a smart, wonderful child as you grow into adulthood. Your Mama and Daddy are and will be so proud of you, and be assured that we will always love you, for you are a part of our very selves. I also wanted to tell you that the same sister also sent a Cabbage Patch doll that she made, and it is so very cute. Then one of her dad's friends, actually he has become a friend of all of us, he wanted Mama to have a special gift, so he went shopping all by himself, and he bought me a real cuddly teddy bear. He said it was for me, but you gotta know, I'll share it with my baby and my wonderful husband. I love you, sweetheart. Mama and Daddy be seeing you soon. God bless. Love, Mama. We are getting really close to the baby being born, which I guess I intellectually knew was going to happen with reading this baby notebook, but the fact that we're getting so close to my birthday is a little like, I'm excited. I'm excited to read what they said, and I'm excited for me to actually enter the chat, to be here, so that we're not just talking about this imaginary baby, we're talking about me. So this is exciting. Easter Sunday, April 22nd, 1984. Hi, sweet baby. Darling, it's less than 24 hours to the moment Mama and Daddy lay eyes on you. The Lord has blessed Mama with very good health during this last 9 months. I am ready to have you come out so that we can hold you close. And she talks about people that called to ask how they were feeling, and more about people that they talked to. We will be calling a long list of friends and relatives to rejoice with us on your birth. When Mom and Dad woke up this morning, there was such a beautiful sunrise in the east. I don't know why that's making me want to cry. We love to look at pretty things of nature that the Lord has given us together. After a while, it got real windy and the temperature dropped and it snowed. That is something for April 22nd. I don't know why this is making me cry. Everything outside is all white. It's pretty also because the wind has stopped for now and the sun is shining on the snow. And everything is bright and pretty and clean. There will be many times to share with you all of the beauty that the world has to offer. We are looking forward to it, honey. Today by 5 p.m. we will be checked into the hospital. That's only 7 hours from now. Mama wants to stop now because I want to make the house all clean for Daddy while I'm in the hospital with you. God bless you, honey. See you soon. Happy Easter. Love, your Mama. Whew. I mean, I think what got me is picturing a couple, not necessarily my parents, but a couple watching the sunrise, seeing the snow glittering on everything. And they always talked about how it snowed on my birthday, but to think in April, end of April, it is surprising back then to have had snow. And so just that they were feeling the beauty of nature and being alive, looking at beautiful things. It sounds peaceful. It sounds like they were happy. Like, it sounds like the environment was as beautiful as it could be for my arrival. So I guess it makes me sad knowing, like, how foul it turned out for me when it started. So lovely. Today's entry was written by my father. And if you've been following along, the last time he wrote in the baby notebook was entry number 29, and now we're on entry 40. And the last time he wrote, he made a commitment to write more frequently and consistently to the baby, and he did not do that, which is surprising to me. His integrity and writing things down was very important to him, and he kept a personal notebook every single day for his like entire life. So it is surprising to me that he didn't write more consistently in this notebook. I don't really know what to make of that, other than I'm surprised by it. Easter Sunday Eve, 8 p.m., April 22nd, 1984. Hi, sweets. Daddy wants to write once more before we see you tomorrow morning. Your mama has been so good to you. What a beautiful 9 months. Mom took real good care of herself. She didn't smoke or drink, except some wine and black cherry brandy, but very little. Also, Mama was always so cheerful and wonderful, even at the start when she wasn't feeling well. Something about that makes me think like that he's writing that she was always so cheerful and wonderful feels, and maybe I'm reading into it, but it feels like different than how she typically was. Like maybe she wasn't always cheerful and wonderful. Like it feels like it was a difference. Like she was taking good care of herself, not smoking and drinking except for some wine and black cherry brandy. She was always so cheerful and wonderful, even at the start when she wasn't feeling well. I'm so proud of Mama, and I know you will be too. No, absolutely not. Was never, ever, ever, and am not currently proud of her. Dad wants to see you and Mama look into each other's eyes and face. That will be so great. Mama and Daddy prayed for you today before we left number 32. That is what they referred to their trailer. I'm assuming that was like their lot number. So you and Mama and Daddy will all be fine on Monday. Both of us cried a couple of times because our happiness over you and the great joy we feel in our hearts. Well, baby, it's only 12 hours and we will see you, sweets. God bless you, and get ready for Mama and Daddy. Love you, Daddy. When I receive intuitive messages for someone else, it's super clear, it's very obvious, it's through a photo, it's like so clear. When I receive an intuitive message for myself, it's a little bit more complicated. I have been reading from a baby notebook that my parents wrote to me before I was born, and I've talked about it openly on here that it was an intuitive nudge to find this notebook. And I realized I never shared what that actually means. Like, what did that look like? In this instance, it didn't come in words. It wasn't like, go find the baby notebook. That's the next step. It was not like that at all. Sometimes it can be like that for me where it feels like a voice sort of telling me something specific. But in this case, it was like the literal feeling of the notebook in my hands. And I have a ton of notebooks that have just writing from all different facets and times in my life and times in my parents' life, times in my grandparents' life. Like I have a lot of notebooks that have a lot of writing in it. And so the fact that I saw the blue cover of the notebook, I felt how thick and heavy it was in my hand, and that the spiral notebook part felt like rusty to me. I just knew to look for that specific feeling of a notebook. And I knew that that notebook was the baby notebook. I had held it in my hands. I just never opened it before. Until now, I had not felt safe enough or regulated enough to even crack open this notebook. But because of the practice I have been doing and the work I've been doing on my healing, when I had this feeling to like literally feel this notebook in my hands, it wasn't read the notebook on TikTok. It wasn't any of that. It was just like, I needed to feel the notebook in my hand. So that was the next step. That was the action I could take. So I located the notebook and I held it in my hands. And I didn't open it right away. I just held it and I felt logical like brain kicked in and I went, this is going to be opening a can of worms. Do I even want to do this? Is this a huge mistake? If you go back to the beginning of this playlist, you'll see that I was not sure about it for a very long time. I was having resistance and an inner sort of struggle to like, why was this the move? Why was this the nudge? This doesn't make any sense. How could this possibly be helpful? It's like you can still have those thoughts as long as they don't stop you. As long as you're still curious, you're still willing, you're still interested. I held the notebook in my hands and I felt like, I don't know that I want to do this. And then I set it down and I waited until there was another nudge, and I let myself have some space and time to think about it and to feel about it and to just be okay with whatever I would find inside of the notebook. It has been one of the best things I've ever done for myself, is to read this notebook and to specifically record myself reading it as I read it for the first time. And that was the next feeling. And when I had that nudge, I didn't think that I was going to post it on the internet. I just knew I wanted to record it when I read it. And then after I recorded it, when I read it and I watched it back, I felt like maybe put that on TikTok. Just see. And that has been how the nudges feel. It feels like an intuitive, like scavenger hunt. Like I'm looking for treasure or I'm following the breadcrumbs, but I didn't realize how many things connected. But I followed the feeling. I followed the nudge. I followed my curiosity of like, why am I thinking about that notebook? And it's just the flash of this blue notebook and the rusted out feeling of the spiral kept popping up, and I couldn't deny it. I had to feel it in my hands, and then the next steps revealed themselves. I avoided the baby notebook yesterday because I thought that today's entry was going to be by birth. Well, I was wrong. It's not yet, even though you would think it would be. A couple of pages after the last entry that are just like line by line documentation of who called the hospital, at what time they called on the day, what was discussed, what presents were brought. And like, I think anybody else, if I saw that in a baby notebook, I would think, oh, that's to like send thank you cards or to just like keep record or whatever. I wouldn't think anything of it. But how things are documented, and because it's my mother and I know how like sinister she was, what it feels like to me, because it's like down to the minute. It's like 6:10 p.m. so and so and it's just like odd, and it feels very much like she's keeping score and like wanting to remind herself of like who did what and when. And there's just there's a funky feeling on these pages, and again, it's like how she's writing about things and what she's saying that makes me think that it was like a hierarchical sense of control for her, more than it was like about her sending thank you cards or wanting to make record for me. Because it's like I don't know any of these people. I know some of them from stories that they told, or like her ex-mother-in-law came to the hospital. Okay, cool, I guess, whatever. Like, I don't know this woman. I have no idea. So it's just odd. There were blank pages in between, so I also think she thought more was going to happen, and it didn't. April 23rd, 1984, midnight. Hi, baby sweets. We still don't know what you are. Cool. So you still don't know what I am. Okay. Daddy left 1 hour after visiting hours were over, and then he called at 9:30. After we talked, then Mama got a little afraid. I got the shakes, and I got very cold. Okay. The nurses didn't know what was wrong. It turned out to be the flu. Mama, write more tomorrow. I am not denying that she had the flu. Maybe she had the flu. I just know from my personal experience that whenever there was an important date, something that meant something to me, graduation, ceremonies, birthdays, surgeries that I had, anything that was important, that she was not the absolute center of attention, if she wasn't getting enough attention, she would get the shakes. Or she would fall down. Something would happen. Like when the first time I had a near-death experience and was in septic shock and almost died and had hours-long surgery and everything, she was so dramatic, and her foot was bleeding, and she had a bloody sock that she was limping around the hospital, and it was a whole thing, and she needed to get a wheelchair, and it was a whole big thing because of her foot, and her toe was bleeding. So maybe she had the flu. That's possible. But the fact that she said that she was alone, she was afraid, I'm a bit skeptical. April 23rd, 1984, the day we have all been waiting for, my birthday. Hi, darling baby. After Mama knew that it was nothing too serious last night, and after a few phone calls to Daddy, Mama was reassured that it was okay to go to sleep. It was 5:30 in the morning that the nurses took my temperature and blood pressure again, and then everything is okay for you at 8 a.m. Darling, the countdown is at 1 hour. Honey, I don't believe it. We will be seeing you so soon. Daddy will be here shortly, and the nurse is here now to give me a shot. I love you, baby. And then my dad wrote, Hi, Rosalee. So that's the first time I'm addressed properly. You are so big and beautiful. 11 pounds, 2 ounces, 22 inches at 8:15 a.m., Monday, April 23rd, 1984. You've made Mama and Daddy so happy to see you. We love you so very much. So then my mom wrote again, Hi, sweet Rosalee. You certainly are a treasure. We all made it through surgery just fine. You are so calm and peaceful, and we are certainly the happiest parents alive. Mama needs to rest now. I'll write more real soon, Mama. I was such a big baby and had a full head of hair, put me in the newspaper because of it. So that was one of the first big hits of attention my mom got, to have her picture in the paper and get this attention. And then after that, I was in the newspaper all of the time. It was a major thing. I am feeling a little bit of letdown. Little schnibbles were the entries on my birthday. I'm looking forward to the entries that we're going to read now, because it's now I'm here, now they're calling me by my name and looking at my face and seeing that I'm an actual real human being. I'm very curious how they write moving forward. How they wrote to the imaginary baby, I did not like. So I'm open to being surprised and enjoying the rest of the entries. And I also am not getting my hopes up for it. I'm just it's going to be whatever it is. But I'm interested. I'm looking forward to it.